Welcome to The Vault with Financielle. This is a safe space where we talk all things life and money and no topics are off limits. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are we doing today?
We're good.
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I feel like it's like very warming to be in the studio and this like nice cozy.
Yeah, like
Is it boucle? What is it?
boucle. That was the one.
I know what you mean with
Borg.
Borg.
We described it as Borg.
Yeah, off camera, she described the couch as
but I'm
Borg,
gonna
and I don't know what
stand
Borg
by
is.
that.
No, but you can get like Borg jackets, can't you, and stuff?
Yes, and that's this fabric.
I think so, yeah.
Well, it's nice and cozy. We need a aesthetic fire in the background maybe now, crackling
I
fire.
like doing that when you're in your house and it's Christmassy and you put the fire background on.
Yeah.
I've got a new hobby and it is also aging me by about 80 years.
God.
I've got a jigsaw.
I love a jigsaw.
Because I've been using my phone lock thing that we spoke about last week really well. Basically, it's a physical barrier. You can't go on your phone unless you go outside and tap your phone on this little tab.
You don't have to keep it outside, but Lucy chooses to keep it in the car so
Just
that
an extreme measure.
she really wants to get into a phone. She has to go out into the cold.
Yeah, there's a big spider on our path at the moment as well, so definitely not going out there.
I thought you hadn't messaged me back for 3 weeks.
So I got a jigsaw because I was like, I need something that like calms my mind and which is not just watching a screen. And I'm literally addicted to it. Like all day, all I can think of is jigsaw pieces like connecting together.
I love jigsaws. Every year when we go to France, the family whose house we stay in have just wall-to-ceiling jigsaws in this wardrobe. And I just love it. And like, it's nice that, you know what's nice about a jigsaw? You might not like this, Lucy, but that other people can come in and come out and do a little bit. Do you get annoyed? I was going to do that bit.
Well, obviously, me and Alex turned it into a competition. And sometimes I think he's got a bit bored with it now. So like, I can have the glory of finishing the jigsaw. Yeah. We've currently got a Dolomites.
Oh, that'd be nice.
And I sit, literally pull the coffee table like into the couch basically, and I sit with the fire and I've got like a Christmas scene.
Is it light enough to see the jigsaw? Like, have you got
Sometimes
the right lights on it?
I will refuse to put the big light on, so I do a
torch.
Oh, wow.
With your torch on your phone.
I do like a jigsaw, and the good thing about them is they're really accessible. So in our local library, you can get them out for free. And then give them back. And then you can get them at all charity shops. Like, it's not an expensive hobby or like activity to do with your family.
Yeah, because it's a bit like a book. Like, once you've done it, you may want to do it again, but you probably want to move on to a different one. So the fact that you can gift it or redistribute it is quite a good idea, and people are willing to because you don't want to redo them.
Did you pick our jigsaw that we did this year in France? Because it was hell on earth.
The Marvel one.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason I picked Marvel was I thought some of the kids at some point may be interested in doing it because they had lots of, because some are really dull, aren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was really hard because there was like really, really big characters and then tiny characters, and lots of characters look the same, like the number of blue and red. Green and greens, and then the blue and red ones. There was Spider-Man, there was Captain America, and they were all blue. Yeah, it was, I picked it, but I think it was more because of the Marvel. I thought the boys liked it.
It was good in the end, and I like that people just dropped in and out. Like it was quite past. Some people, like a few
Someone
of us
come down and go, "You've not done much." Oh, well done, you've done loads.
Yeah. Like, I've been here for 3 hours. I've done a lot. You just don't realise.
I know. I've reorganised them all. I must admit, I got into hacks at the end, which was when it's really hard at the end. You can, and it's the stuff that they all look the same. You can order them by like shape. Have you seen that? Oh my god, this is a hack. Because there's only about 3 or 4 different types of jigsaw shapes. So you put them all in a line of all the ones that have like one sticking up at the top. You put them all in a line and group ones that are similar. And so then you start at the left of the jigsaw and you go, okay, that piece, I need one with a sticky up bit. I'll go to that queue. And you go, that one, no, that one, no, that one, no. So you can only do it near the end.
That's a proper hack.
Yeah, it did sweet. That's literally what I was done. I wouldn't be able to finish it. So you have a scene on while you're doing your jigsaw, is that what it is?
Yeah, Christmas scene.
Gorgeous.
It's got like Christmas jazz.
Oh, I like that.
I'm going to put it. I want to get home actually.
Yeah.
26 going on 85.
Yeah, that's all right. It's the right age to be.
Okay, controversial opinion time. 33 hours childcare is a scam.
Going to pass over to my colleague on the right because I no longer have children that I have to pay for their education.
Yeah, but you know about the. I think you were probably a bit jealous when it came out though.
I was thrilled.
You didn't get the 30.
No, I got 15, and I was absolutely thrilled for people when it came out. And when Labour kind of pushed it forward as one of their big items that they were going to push through, I was like, this is a long time coming. This is incredible for women mostly because women are always punished. Like when you become a mum, there's loads of stats behind it. I think we've done a blog on it as well. If you go to financielle.com and search up 33 childcare hours, one of them will pop up. But it really punishes women when they can't get back into work. If they're not the main breadwinner, they'll generally take time off to be the core parent, if you like, taking part-time hours instead of full-time ones. Like men actually, when they become parents, their career trajectory like increases massively and the take-home pay increases and promotions increase, whereas for women it absolutely goes backwards. So I was like, this is amazing for women, this is amazing for families. Is it all it's cracked up to be? Like, you tell me, because I'm not in the detail.
I think that's the thing. I think, look, when we look at our friends over in the States and what women have to go through, families have to go through when the woman, like, I mean, we just don't even need to start getting into how bad politically they're doing right now, how poor they are when it comes to state support. It's really interesting, without getting to detail, but I'm fairly interested in American politics because we've spent a lot of time there over the years, and mum's always been interested in it. And in the US, you've got the Republicans and the Democrats. So aside from like what's going on now, historically, you've kind of what they call left and right wing. But the Democrats, which are left wing in America, are very central everywhere else. So like Labour, the left wing party here, are the more typically left wing, but they're far more left than the Democrats. The Democrats are far more central. So it's really ironic. It's like people pick a side like they're picking a football team. But if people really sat and thought about what the Democrats campaign for, it's the vast majority. It's what most people would want. And there's certain things that happen in the States that you can't comprehend that they've got there. And one of them is the healthcare situation where, we have the NHS here and we just take it for granted massively. But there's so much controversy and there's so much changing and there's so much that basically like private companies get involved and make big profits, and access to insulin, like just basic stuff. So that's crazy. But on the childcare side, it's just universally accepted that maternity leave isn't a thing, that you essentially get between 6 and 8 weeks maternity, where like if you've had even the most basic of births, you are still physically recovering. Never mind mentally recovering, and you've got a newborn baby. And I feel like you don't hear a lot about nurseries over there, like daycares. You don't see, like, it must be a huge industry because you're taking in 6 and 8 week old babies, the care that's required, and it's just absolutely crazy. And lots of people do try and save and try and do things, but there's never any work benefits that let you have paid maternity, not to that kind of level. So I've got that in the back of my mind where it's like, actually, we do have a pretty good deal here in the UK. But the 30 hours free childcare has gone up from 15, but it's intended to do two things. One, get people, especially women, back into work sooner. So a lot of women don't go back to work or go back to work part-time because they're precluded from because they're like, why am I earning this money and then handing it straight over to a nursery to look after my child? And secondly, it is the cost of living crisis because childcare has gone up and bills have gone up. And so childcare is also unaffordable. So it's those two reasons. But there's just a lot of technicalities that we won't go into, but it's not 33 hours blank all year round. It's only in term time. There's also extra supplements that you generally have to pay to the nursery, which is not the nursery's fault, but the hourly rate that they get from the government is less than that if you were paying normally for an hour. And so you do pay for extra things like food and extra nappies and extra nice things, the nice things that you get to do. It's like a surcharge. A lot of people don't like that, but we know quite a few people that have worked in the childcare industry. And, they're not making billions of pounds in profit. This isn't an amazing profession where they're like rinsing it financially. They need the extra money. And so the offering from the government doesn't kind of stack up and help. So it is something we'll take. And it definitely reduced our bill. I mean, our bill was around £1,000. And with that help, it's about 700-ish now. So 300's gone back into our family pot. In fact, ironically, that 300 goes now into mine and Carl's pension equally. So we're very lucky that as a family, we didn't need that for like food, or we didn't need it, but other people would like that. But at the same time, I feel like I'm doing something fiscally responsible with it, which is looking after me and my husband in our older age, that hopefully the state doesn't have to. But that extra 300, 5 years ago might have gone to help us buy a home or help us like
pay for the groceries or heating.
Well, especially heating when things are going up. So I'm hoping it obviously helps out a lot of families. So a scam is a strong word, but I think like Holly said, I think the government dined out on this. We're going to help.
I remember I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
And it's also stupid because it's based on the term after your child turns a certain age. So let's say it was 3 in this scenario. I know that there's different ages.
Why do they do that?
It's stupid because I had one child, middle child was born in May. So the next term after May is September. So she was born in May, but we've just missed the like Eastery, I think, term.
It's April, yeah.
So then it's September.
Oh, wow.
But my youngest was born at the end of August, so he got it 2 days after. So like, you know,
Make sense.
We're lucky that we got both sides of it. But I think a lot of people find it confusing in how to work it out. How can you budget for children, and how will your bills change? The nurseries don't know. Like they find it really hard to work out what's my bill going to be when I get these 3 hours, so that you can plan.
It's
really,
not
really
like
hard.
they're highly paid. Like we were like they don't get paid enough. Like nursery workers work so hard. The hours are much longer.
Much longer.
You're much more one-on-one with children. Like in a school, and it's not easy. I'm saying being a teacher. God, I imagine one teacher to 25 plus kids is hell on earth. So God knows how you do that. But you really like kids are falling over. You're changing nappies. Like you're feeding children. You're then washing their hands. Like it's so physical a job, and there's such long hours. And the hourly rate is not acceptable. I don't think for the amount of care that they give. I just don't think they're appreciated enough in that. The government don't recognise it as a high, like should be more of a high paying job. It's quite a low paying job for the amount of work, and there's not enough acknowledgement in the young like childcare industry or whatever. But I was talking about like how you plan for these costs and how much it costs for childcare. Someone that I used to work with literally worked out on a spreadsheet when she needed to give birth by so that she didn't have to pay for another year of childcare.
Oh my God.
So they wanted the baby to be born pre 31st of August. Would that be right? Would that be right?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have to pay another year.
I'm just laughing because
So demanded a C-section
She did.
from her consultant because she didn't want to pay for another year of childcare.
Yeah.
And so had a C-section before 31st of August.
savvy.
Yeah.
I must admit, when I was pregnant with Ali, he was born on his due date, which was the 28th of August. And so he will be the youngest in his school year. But if he was born on the 1st of September, we'd have to pay for an extra year's nursery, an extra year.
So it could have
that
really
makes sense
big
now. I've just got it.
financial impact. Yeah, if you're born on the 1st of September,
Yeah.
you're going to do an extra year than someone born on the 28th.
I think ultimately I'm pleased it was brought in, but you have to do so much planning for children and potentially having children. And then when you actually have them and then putting them into childcare. And then, you know, you may have said that earlier, Hall, but now we've got after school, wraparound care. You know, we're very lucky actually where we work for ourselves. We, you'll know this because we start work at 9:05 because we need to do the school run. We're not having to do the breakfast clubs like when I was working in the city or when we worked, in Manchester. You would have to do before school clubs and after school clubs, and it was still tight. So you're paying before, you're paying after. So it's, you know, you don't get 3 hours for the wraparound care, but you do just have to pay for it. It's tough.
It is. There's always another cost. Like you say, it doesn't actually stop. I was like, I don't pay for childcare anymore. I do. I pay for wraparound care. What do you pay for Ava? Just more meals in the day. Everyone always says like
more,
high school
when they're
kids.
at high school.
It's like, how much have they spent for lunch? You spent £6 on lunch today.
Yeah,
What
well,
have
they
you got?
cap it, but you know, she's got a little Starling like kiddie card that's in our. It's called Kite, and you can do it as a space. And so not all the time, but sometimes I'll get a ding, and she'll have gone to like the corner shop and got some rubbish for like a fortune. But no, high school, it's like just feeding them and then their activities then, but at least they're a bit more self-sufficient. It's so expensive, and like I said, I'm super privileged that we saved a bit of money and actually we're able to lean into investing again. That's because we did Financielle, that's because we did the playbook, we've paid off our debt, we've got our savings, but so I'm grateful for it. But £300 in my back pocket or $250 is game changing if you want to be able to save for things, save for school shoes, save for holidays, and pay for food. Like it's a welcome receipt. But I've just it's like I think it's the shock that people get and they go, oh, so it's not actually 30 hours.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's
no,
the conversations
it's not.
I
It's like,
hear.
I'm gonna sell it in as this big thing, but actually it's like smoke and mirrors, and good luck if you can work out how much you're meant to pay.
Yeah. Can I just ask, what are you going to do with the excess when you really don't have to pay for nursery childcare? Obviously, you'll have to pay for wraparound care for Ali at when he goes to primary school. But what do you envisage like doing with that excess cash?
So I was asked this by someone on TikTok, something similar, which was actually to do with our junior ISAs, and our junior ISAs were saving for the kids, and we want to save 21 grand by the time they're 21. And that will belong to them. So, we will have to manage those discussions over the next few years, which is my preference is it would be to like maybe buy a car. I'm hoping they don't want me to buy a car and then them have 21 grand, but they might need a car before then. So then that's like gone out the window, although they get access to it at, between 16 and 18. And then, or is it like a deposit for a house? Is it a starter for that? That would be a good thing because it's starting them off on that journey. But someone said, oh, is it for uni? And I went, oh, no, it isn't actually. And so I think that what will start to happen, and we need to think about it for Ava even earlier, is I want to save as much as I can to help contribute to uni. I would like our children not to have student loans or to have as little student loans as possible. So I think it was before I said, oh, we've diverted it back into our pensions because we've got a percentage that we want to hit. But I think the bigger conversation is how much do we need to save for 3 children to potentially go into further education of some sort. And that's scary.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Sobering.
Yeah. Especially with how expensive it is now to
Yeah.
live.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just the fees, is it? It's you're all staying at home.
Yeah.
Not living out anywhere. And you're going to do it at a cheaper university, or you're going to get one of these apprenticeships and someone will pay you to work.
Yeah.
And it's all to think about. And I honestly, for someone who like helps to run a finance brand, university hadn't entered my head until she said, oh, is that what it's for? This like listener.
Yeah,
and I
that's
went,
interesting.
no, it's not. But you've just helped
Like
another sinking fund that I need. Yeah.
I think saving for uni is a terrifying one because they just keep increasing. I saw one the other day that the protests because the cost of university is going to go up again, and job losses in universities, and like it's all very much up in the air. And I think even back in the day, having a grant, it was quite competitive to try and get one of those. You have to hit certain markers for it, or scholarships or whatever it is. They're going to be a hell of a lot more competitive now because it becomes so expensive.
Well, Lucy's was the year that they made you all do it from home or didn't even do them, but still charged you full fees. Do you
My
remember?
last year was all online.
Unbelievable.
Couldn't get any equipment out that we needed, anything.
For the same price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, time for our first dilemma. And this is a really good one. It's in the community, so I think you will have seen it. I just won a car. But I'd love some advice. I literally entered online a month ago, and this morning the radio station called me and actually delivered it to my work, which is obviously amazing, but it's smaller than I need. It's electric, which is fab, but it's a Chinese brand that nobody has really heard of, which in Germany means higher repair costs if needed. So as much as it feels incredible to have a brand new car sitting on my driveway that doesn't cost much more than my 26-year-old one to insure, I'm considering selling it. The internet says I could get between 13 and 19k for it, which would wipe my debt, let me buy a decent-sized second-hand car since my old one likely won't pass its next MOT, help me move out of the house I share with my ex, and maybe even leave me with a bit left over. But it feels like I'm cheating. Like I won't have earned my debt-free status. I mean, it would take me years otherwise to get there, but this feels like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. What would you do?
Who wins a car?
This is
Just
insane.
one. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Well done. Must enter more competitions, everyone.
I remember when I was younger. Do you remember in magazines there used to be like, I'm talking like Sugar. Was it Sugar Rush or Sugar?
It was Sugar. Don't look
I
at
don't know. I'll look at Lucy.
Me.
Think of like a young Cosmo, but like for kids, teens. And there used to be a page that was like ring to enter this competition. And I remember when they first came out, and I was like, Mum, can I ring like to enter this competition? She was like, yeah, fine, no worries. And I did it once, but then I did it like 2 times, 3 times, like in her bedroom upstairs in our old Aspel. And Mum and Dad hadn't cracked on like, now you're going to look at like how much is it going to cost per, I'm sure at the time it was like £3 per entry, which back 25 years ago would have been like a tenner an entry. And I just didn't understand the concept that I had to pay each time I entered this competition.
You're like, I just ring the phone and It's my answer.
I never win anything. The only thing that we always laugh about, what did I win? A jar of jelly beans because I had the longest chip. It was like the longest.
She did. She wanted. She did Calvin. It's a serious competition.
It is.
These jelly beans lasted about a week because no one liked them. It was Slowinski's balloon.
Yeah.
Is that the right place?
Yeah, in London.
In Piccadilly Circus, yeah. She won the biggest chip competition in the whole restaurant. So she got a large takeaway cup of jelly beans that lasted forever because no one wanted them.
That's what I want.
I won a pair of skis once.
Oh, yeah.
Playing bingo skiing. It wasn't like just random. Imagine that in the local bingo hall. Skis in Wigan.
Walking out.
It was skiing. That was a great prize.
It was.
That is good.
Never
I remember
a car.
I remember her getting off the bus like.
With my head skis.
Yeah.
Never used them again.
What have you ever won a competition?
I've won vicariously through my dad.
Go on.
So do you know those like rogue Instagram pages where like someone
Khloe
starts
Kardashian.
it up? No, like someone starts it up in like your town, and it's like every Friday we do like a live thing. It was really weird because it was all legit. She must have like got stuff from somewhere cheaper. My Apple Watch is from that because basically she was quite small. So like she only had a few hundred followers, so like it was pretty good odds. Like my dad won like one of those insane bottles of brandy, like the Remy Martin.
Yeah,
what
I've got my
they're
mouth
called.
wide open.
He's run like full toolkit, iPad. And it was like his friend's daughter that was doing it. So we were all there like, oh yeah, let's get
The secret competitioner.
It was so good, but she doesn't do it anymore.
No wonder.
She was losing. Give away an
By
iPad.
my dad.
Apple Watch.
So my Apple Watch is from that.
That's
Do you reckon it
hilarious.
was stolen?
No.
Oh.
She literally got everything.
She's thinking. She's like, don't
No.
think so. Lydia, have you ever won anything in a competition?
Not that I can remember.
No.
Gonna go start entering some though, aren't you?
Yeah.
The Amaze
that
ones are the
Chinese
best
car.
ones. Yeah. The Amaze ones get me. I think
Yeah.
we talked about them before.
We always talk about would you sell the house, would you keep it? And you'd always sell it.
They're always
It's
on a
almost-
floodplain. Always on a floodplain. What was the question?
Should she sell the
Should she
car?
sell
Oh
it?
yeah, she won a car.
So, aside from the competition, right? For everyone, picture this at home. So you come into some money. This is an asset that's worth some money. You come into some money and you have debt. And it's a really interesting point that she says, I feel like I've cheated. I feel like I've worked for it. And she's got a bit of a point, and it's not because you don't deserve to get a leg up or you don't deserve to get help. Sometimes people get a bonus from work. Sometimes people sadly get an inheritance. There's lots of ways that people come into an amount of money. It could be a tax refund, sorry. But if you don't grind out the wins and the building the emergency fund and going without and cutting your budget and paying off debt for a good enough time, there is a danger that you didn't learn anything and you didn't cut your teeth at something and you slip back into bad habits. So it's definitely worth being mindful of that. Not that you cheated, like there's no rules. Everyone gets different legs up in different ways, and some people have it harder than other people. It's just not fair. It is that way. So bearing that in mind, but it's interesting that she's got a car that sounds like it's on last legs and she is going to need a new one. She says it's too small for what she needs. That was the only thing that stuck out to me, because there's a part of me that was like, look, it's not a Ferrari. It's not cheap, but it's not a really expensive, like 40 grand car. She said
Between
19,
13 and
yeah.
19k.
So let's say she could get 19 grand. That's an awful lot of money. But it's not double that. It's not like a 40 grand car. It's about 19, 20 grand max. And it is feasible that she could have that car and then just keep it. And let's just say, this will be perfect for me. I don't need to do anything else. I'm just going to keep this one. But she says it's too small. So I'm hanging on. I want to see what Holly says in a minute, but I'm hanging on to that and going, I don't think she wants this car. And I think she's got a really good plan for if she sold it, she'd get a car that would be fully paid for, that would be more what she wants.
Yeah.
She would be able to pay off debt. She'd be able to have some savings. It ticks a lot of boxes. So if she thinks she can manage money well and going forwards, build a really big emergency fund and build these sinking funds for the car that won't be as expensive as that one, so it's going to need stuff doing to it from time to time. What's the next goal in mind? Rather than like saying, oh, no, I'm going to punish myself and I'm going to keep that car because I need to learn how to pay off debt. If she said, I love this car, it's amazing, it's just what I've always wanted, I actually, on that, just because of her preference, I would flip the whole thing and go, I wouldn't blame you for keeping that car. but knowing that the price I have to pay for keeping this beautiful new car is grinding out this paying off the debt. Because sometimes it's so easy to think, oh, I'll just clear it, and then it just all falls apart because you don't actually end up doing it and you end up running up the debt. And I mean, you're in a similar position, not with winning, but you had to decide whether to like use savings to pay off a car, and the danger. You could have said, no, I'm going to do it the hard way.
Yeah.
I need to learn.
Yeah. And I think she might have got that from pods where we've said before, like you need to go through the verbatim, you need to go through the pain of paying off debt so you never do it again.
Yeah.
So I get what she's saying. Like she feels bad because she's not got, it sounds like she's gone through a little bit of it. She's on a money journey, so you've obviously had to start at the beginning and work your way through. But yeah, you feel like you've got this like magic bonus out of knowing you're not deserving. Like we always feel like we're not deserving of something when it's kind of like handed to us. But you've already got a plan. Like you're very financially astute. You've listed out all the things you're going to do. And I think you've kind of made the decision, but you just want to give us permission for you to like carry it through, because you wouldn't have thought about it so much and listed out all the things that you're going to be able to achieve. And one of the things you mentioned, and I think you've messaged on the community before, about getting out of your ex-partner's house.
Oh, yes. Oh, God, yeah. Sorry.
That's emotionally draining. It's not healthy for anyone. You could be stuck there for a long time. It could be damaging to your mental health, all those things. So notwithstanding all the other amazing things that you've said, that's one big thing that can help you get a leg up and get out of that situation. So I, like, the minute you said it, I was like, sell the car. Like, you've got no affinity to do it, no attachment. You literally entered a competition. It's not like a family member's gone, I'm going to gift you this car and I want you to run it into the ground. It's my gift to you and you're feeling guilty. Like, just get rid of the car. Yeah. Just get rid of the car.
What a little gift.
I know.
She is like on a money journey. She's looking after her money. She's in a position where she wants to get out of a property that she's sharing with an ex. Ding.
Yeah.
Car.
Good vibes. We sometimes, especially women, I don't think are like accepting that good things can happen to you sometimes. Yeah. You're like, oh, there's got to be a catch to this. Like, no. 100%. Good things can just happen to good people sometimes. So you've already got a great plan. Like, we're here for you to sell the car. I'm well on board with this.
Don't enter competitions too much, so it costs too much, but wow.
Just listen, some competitions are free to enter, like, just have a little go. If you're not in it,
be open.
You're not going to win it.
To winning.
Okay, community win time. Love the pod. You've helped me so much over the last 6 months. I've finally had the courage to get to know my numbers. I have a month's emergency fund squirreled away for the first time ever. I'm working towards paying off my final outstanding personal loan. And I even have a sinking fund in place for my car's annual service. Finally, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you.
Oh, honestly, emergency funds are just a game changer. Like, they feel like very boring when you're not in the financial world. You're like, why would I have that? But we always talk about, not many people in the UK have money set aside for no purpose, as in a house, a kitchen, a holiday. Like, we're always saving for something tangible. Like, to have an emergency fund is like the ultimate adulting move.
Yeah. Superpower.
It just really is.
It's in your corner, and it's in your friend's corner because you can help someone out. Like, you just have options, you have choice. Yeah. And so often we talk about like returns and numbers and savings, and sometimes it's the intangible.
Yeah.
When we did our net worth earlier this month, it's a monthly reminder of how much you having savings and how that makes you feel. And it's a good little barometer, like, how am I still feeling? Like, we should always keep checking. Do I need more? Am I putting a bit too much there? Should I be leaning into something else? But just like, I was chatting with the guy that I work with at BBC, and he's amazing. He was talking about, I was like, he bought a house. I was like, how's it going? He was like, homeowner life, like the boiler need doing and this and doing this and doing. And he's like, every time I get savings, every time I get paid, I have to put money back into savings. And I was like, yeah, but at some point you're going to run out of these things. And it'll just be sat there. Yeah. This is what it's there for. Like, if you didn't have it, this would be a credit card. This would be overdraft. This would be stress. This would be buy now, pay later. This would be, borrowing money from friends and family. Whereas you just take your money from the emergency fund, paying for it, and then you build it back up again. And there will be a month where suddenly the homeowner thing doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And you go, and then it builds and builds from there. And timely reminder of how important an emergency fund can be. Just makes you feel amazing.
Yeah. And for all those that are in build that are constantly writing, I'm bored in build. I'm bored in build stage. We get it. We've all been there. Like, it is boring as hell. I'm not going to lie. But once you get there and you start to then go, I can start investing, like that you get that buzz again, that dopamine hit. So I know a couple of people had written on the community the other day, how do I stay motivated in build phase?
God, it's hard, but
it's small goals, small incremental ones. We welcome a break every so often of like, I can't keep doing this every month, so this month we're gonna pull back and do so, especially if you're stopping doing anything fun. If you like a bit of self-punishment, like you don't need to go there, you can have a nice balance. It depends how quickly you need to get to that to the stage that you're in.
And deciding the right number as well, because it's so personal. So I like playing a game. It's a great game. Welcome to my exciting life of what could go wrong.
Yeah.
But it literally is. Sit down, whether it's you on your own or you and a partner, and go, okay, let's go through all the things that are fairly likely could go wrong. You know, it might be that the boiler breaking or the roof leaking or something if you're a homeowner that you'd be responsible for. And how much do you need to cover that? If you were to lose your job, how much would you need, and how long would it take you to get a new job in your field, in McDonald's, because the varying levels of emergency. Because when you start to quantify emergencies, they're not always huge financially. They're not always as big as you kind of think they are. It may be around, like, if you got poorly, if you had a mental health issue, if you 1 in 2 of us are going to get cancer at some point. Like, there could be life-changing things that for a period of time mean we need to rely on an emergency fund. And obviously one of the things we always say is have a look at how insurances can close that gap. So if you're sat there and you're building this big emergency fund, but actually you could get some income protection insurance and critical illness cover that for if something was to happen to you, fitness-wise, health-wise, you could have that break. You don't need as high an emergency fund because you've got coverage there. You know, it might be the same with, like, I'm someone who doesn't have, for example, boiler insurance. I deliberately wanted to build up an emergency fund to cater for that so that I could reduce all these different warranties and insurances and stuff that they're paying out for. But if you are someone who would much rather pay, £20 a month for boiler repair and cover that someone will come out, if you're not confident, if you don't have if you've not got a dad, ring mine, but he will ring someone else, he won't be able to do it himself. but if you want the extra peace of mind, you can reduce your emergency fund a little bit because you've covered it with different insurances. Same with pets. Pets is a massive one. Think of all the things that could feasibly go wrong and have a look at your cash savings and go, how is that going to make me feel? And it will either make you increase it or it'll make you reduce it with confidence. And then you kind of move on to grow because it's then always there. It's always there.
Nice. It does, like, the feeling is like no other, having an emergency fund.
It's like admiring it. Like you're looking through pictures on your phone, like we look at our cash.
I look at my standing spaces. Like someone messaged me yesterday saying, I do listen to you. So, what am I getting for my, who should I go with for my, like, spaces, like sinking fund things? And I was just like, I nearly sent a screenshot of mine. I was like, that's really personal. I'm not doing that. But I just literally scroll through. I always
forget with the, and I was a little lower because we've
total.
Paid, the total at the top of spaces. Total. I don't include that. Well, it's not an emergency fund because it's mentally spent because it's an emergency. Well, it's a sinking fund.
We've recently paid out for our holiday. So my travel fund, literally.
Travel.
But if I looked at how much cash went into my travel fund this year,
I travel
mama.
Spaces like Carl and I not be able to
paddleboarding.
You can put a
mine's like a palm tree, I think.
I think mine's generic. Like a superimposed image of me and Alex in Amsterdam.
Of course it is.
It's so funny. Look at this is my TV license one. Carl's put Albie as a baby watching the TV license.
I nearly made a joke and be like, does anyone even pay that? But I do. Like,
I work for the BBC. I'm definitely paying for their TV license. Like,
that was just a joke. Like, because it was such a thing when we were younger, wasn't it? Like,
students,
do you pay for your TV license? They're coming to get you.
The students one was always funny. Like, we don't watch it ever.
Yeah, that's what we did.
But why do they always go after students? Like, they're always knocking on the door for students. Like, surely they have the least money.
We're watching you. We're coming for you.
But that, like, sinking fund total again is peace of mind total that isn't included in your emergency fund. But if I needed, X £1,000 access to that cash, I just won't be going on holiday. I just won't be having a nice Christmas. I won't be able to pay for my car insurance in full because I've got access to the cash. So yeah, it's like it starts small. It's boring at first. It's laborious, and then suddenly you look back and go, oh
yeah, light at the end of the tunnel. She said.
Yeah.
Someone said on a win, didn't they?
If you'd like to tell us your win, head to the community in the app or email it to thevault@financielle.com. Okay, time for our last dilemma. Should I invest in my pension or property? Hi girls, I love your podcast and I listen every week. I'm 24 and living in London on a graduate salary. I have just started a new job and need some advice on where to put my money. I'm in a really lucky situation at the moment. I live in my parents' flat since they live abroad permanently. So apart from bills, I don't have any major living expenses. Because of that, I've been putting away what I would normally spend on rent into savings and the stock market. My company has just launched their pension scheme. The base option is that I contribute up to 5% of my salary and they double it, so 10%. On top of that, I can also contribute extra myself, even though they don't match it. At the moment, I've maximised the match, 5% from me and 10% from them. I'm also adding another 5% from my own salary. So altogether, I'm putting in 10% and they're also putting in 10%. Now I'm at a crossroads. Since I don't have rent to pay, should I use this opportunity to put even more into my pension, or should I focus on saving and investing towards buying a house in the next 5 to 10 years? My parents might be able to help with the deposit, but it's not guaranteed. I also worry that I might be naive about being able to buy in or around London, given today's housing market. So my question is, what's the smarter move right now? Building up my pension while costs are low, or focusing on shorter term saving and investing for a house? Thanks so much. Love the pod.
What a savvy.
I
She's
know.
24.
Yeah.
Savvy 24-year-old.
Love that she loves the pod. Love that she's on it.
Love that she's sat in a rent-free house in London.
Yeah, me too.
Everyone else listening to
Amazing.
this is going, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
everyone's like, could I be a roommate, please?
Yeah.
Like, no, but her parents aren't around. They're in. They're on holiday. They're abroad. So maybe she likes that. I don't know. It's such a really good question, and the way I answer things like this is like because we're playbooking always. Like people listening, you're probably bored of it, but it's really important to show how it works. So she lives to budget is the first stage. She lives to a budget. Great. You understand that you are managing your salary and that you've got sinking funds for things that are coming up. You obviously have a low cost of living, which is amazing at the moment. Perfect. And then you need to make sure that you have an emergency fund. She sounds debt-free, but she's not mentioned debt at all. So we're going to presume she's debt-free. So she needs a really good emergency fund, because at any point, parents could be like, oh, we're coming back and there's no room for you. Or, we're selling that flat. So you need suddenly to move somewhere. And so an emergency fund and picking the right cash value emergency fund for her is probably quite important. So making sure that she's got that built up. She may have already, but we're just going down the flow. So then she's in a place where she doesn't need to buy anything right now. So she's in grow generally, because she's not actively saving or actively buying. I know she's asked that question, but she's not actively doing it. She's not like, I'm going to buy somewhere in 2 years. What shall I do? Yeah. So she's in grow, which is where she is over investing into her, investing into the pension. She's not got a mortgage to overpay. She's not talked about a stocks and shares ISA yet. It's part of the question, isn't it? But she's doing 20%, which she's not said how old she is, but that's amazing. It's a
24.
Oh, she did. Without fail, every week there's a comprehension catch out. She's 24. She's doing unbelievable. So doing 20% at 24 gross with the employer's contribution, she's just nailing it.
So cool.
She'll be fine pension wise. It's been a great year for investments. We know they go up and down, and there's always talks about this crash and that crash, but you've got to invest little and often to be a part of that, and to invest a lot and often, as she's doing, is amazing. So she's very aware, though, at some point, like with the home thing, you don't have to buy a home, but if you don't have a home, you have to have a plan for rent. And it sounds like she would quite like to own a home at some stage. So she's in a really good place pension wise. She could actually think about a lifetime ISA, because a lifetime ISA is a really good vehicle that can help you buy a home, and the government contributes to that. And if you don't end up buying a home with it, you can access it at 60 anyway. So it's kind of like the pension timeline is very, very similar, because she's asking, should I invest it in a pension, which obviously you get a tax break on the pension, but you get this contribution in a ISA that you could then, for every $4,000 you put in, the government put £1,000 per year, you've got £5,000, it contributes to a house deposit. If she never goes on to buying a house deposit, as long as she doesn't withdraw it, because you can get penalised, can't you? She can use it in retirement. So if it were me, I would, because I'm doing so well at my pension, I would like to build out my options for buying a home, because she never knows, like she might buy with someone else at some stage, she might buy with friends, she might buy with her parents. Like there's lots of different ways that she may end up buying. And what do I say to you, Lucy? Cash is
king and options.
Yes, you're like, well,
I was going to say queen.
Cash is king, and it gives you options. And so the only time we don't like cash being the only thing we do is if we're not investing it as well. And so we're missing out on growth, on the tax benefits. So I feel like that's what I do, because it's still based on the fact that she will buy a home, but it still saves the money for retirement. It's not like she's saying, I might want access to that cash before 60. Where should I put it? Because in that case, I wouldn't necessarily put it into a lifetime ISA because you can't access it before it.
Yeah, I was going to say, the risk is that she's so future proactive that she's still so young. There's locking it away, but it's been invested if she's putting all the money into a pension. If something changes, like she meets someone, she wants to buy a house together, like she arguably could be on the back foot of, right, now I need to save for a house deposit. And she said her parents might be able to help, but might. Things change. Like, would you like to have some disposable cash or like accessible cash of your own should your circumstances change? You might want to go working abroad. You might want to go, like, you're so young, it would be nice to have some options of putting it into an account where you can get access to it and maybe not getting penalised. I think you've got enough cash to spread your risk across and diversify, which is like such a wonderful place to be and is so rare for a 24-year-old. So take it with both hands, like indulge in diversification at your age of investing, because so many people, even our age, do not have that luxury.
That's such a good point about about so much could happen, you know, and having access to investments or cash, whether it's a stocks and shares ISA or whether it's a regular cash ISA. I'd be really intrigued to know how big an emergency fund she has, because obviously the lifetime ISA locks it down for a first-time buyer and a particular size house as well. There's a cap on the price. And so in London, like actually she might end up, and that's a really good point for a London purchase, the minimum house that she buys, and if the government don't increase the threshold, might kind of not, the house might be too expensive and she might not be able to use the lifetime ISA anyway. So having a think about what options you want and not modeling it where you like doing numbers, but list the different things that could happen in the next 10 years. Yeah. Travel, children, starting a business, family get poorly, you get poorly. Like what are all like we talked about with the emergency fund before, what would you do in this scenario? And
the different accounts, like what a cash ISA is giving out at the moment, like what a LISA is giving out, what, like looking at the market, what's the return on stocks and shares ISAs across the
because if you do it into either a stocks and shares or a cash ISA, the big point is, especially if it's not a fixed one, you get access to it. Yeah. Whereas if it's pensioned or LISA'd, it's locked away. And if you take out of a LISA, there's penalties and stuff. So yeah, like sometimes it's better to sacrifice a bit of return in return for access.
Yeah, for the freedom.
Yeah, so you're not getting the government contribution and your tax back. And it may not be in as aggressive fund. If it's in stocks, you can have, by the way, not people don't realise this, but you can have a pension and a stocks and shares ISA invested in the same thing. Exactly the same thing. Let's call it like fund number one. We've put 100 quid in fund number one, but in a pension. And we've got 100 quid in fund number one, but it's in the stocks and shares ISA. What you should be able to get the same returns. The only difference is in a pension, obviously you get a tax benefit. So something's being contributed and obviously you get an employer's contributions, but she's maxed those out anyway. So she can't get any more. She's maxed those. So
I'm like, put that in my brain. We don't give financial advice. So this is subjective.
This is Holly's.
Yeah.
What would you do?
I'm done with, like, my pension sorted. I'm like,
because you're young enough so and young, it's high enough contribution.
Yeah, she's so young and so consistent and has maxed them out. So it's like, what's next? And I think we've already talked about it, but like modelling examples of what. Yeah. How amazing to be diversifying your investments at 24. Like she is living the life. You think these influencers are living the life.
No, that's a life.
She's paying tax on all the fun stuff that they get. Like don't get it twisted. Like they're not living the life. No. And Laura speaks to a lot of them. No pension, no investment, no emergency fund.
And a tax bill for the holiday that they went on that they didn't know they had to declare. But I think if you're sat at home and she's very clear that she appreciates how privileged she is, but you can, on different levels, be in a similar situation. Like you can grind your way to a place where you are having we get these dilemmas all the time. In fact, we get this one that often. There's a different skew with like the parents that we don't read them out all the time because we have them and we, we do try and answer them. We do answer them privately all the time. But I love it when someone gets to go and goes, what do I do? What do I do? And it's like, what do you want to do? And it's very empowering for people to have those options, and you want levers to pull. And so if a house comes up that you want, or if you want to start a business, or if you want to go travel around the world, but you've no cash, you can't.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to tie everything up. you know, you don't want to tie, because she's so young, tying everything up to retirement. She's ticked that box, like, let's come down a rung. But she's the OG influencer. Like, if you want to be influenced by someone, let it be this person.
And a little take home for everyone. Have a little think about what, if anything, what goes into your pension, gross. What percentage are you contributing? What percentage is your employer contributing if you have one? Just have a think about that number, because 20 is high. There's higher, don't get me wrong, but 20 total is high. And there are lots of like compound calculators that you can look at online, especially on government websites, where you can see, you know, the contributions and the percentages, and then that it in the market, and then how you can alter it. But
people don't look at pension calculators enough. Like, I think there's one in the Pension Bee app, isn't there, where it can be like, I've got this much in at the moment, how much will I have at retirement age? And I went, shit. I literally went, shit.
Yeah, a lot of people doing the go, right, okay, at least I know. Money Help have got a really good one. Most of the banking apps now have started to put them in where you can get a pension. So have a little play around with it.
Don't bury your head with it. A lot of people just go, just worry about it later. If you have the facts.
My favourite question.
And you know, like Ruth is a really good example in the community of someone that in their 50s went, just worked out that my pension is not going to do anything.
And now she's closing the gap, and she's doing it. And it's like she needed to know what that gap was and up to the percentages. Not too much that she can't enjoy her life, but not little enough that she then worries.
But the earlier you know, the more chance you've got time to do it. Yeah. So I just get horrified when people so young just put their head in the sand, because I'm like, no, of all the people, you've got the power to make really small changes that could potentially make a demonstrable have a demonstrable impact on your retirement.
If you're not sure what you're contributing, DM us, like we can help you navigate like what it looks like, how you can calculate it. It's quite easily explained online as well. But if you want to walk through, this is if hypothetically my payslip was this and this is what's going in, it's really good to work out what that number is, and crucially, like then increase it where you can, like know that you're improving it. So, I'm excited for it. I feel like it's overwhelmed sometimes when it's options, but these are all strong options, and would be love to know what she actually chooses.
That's all for this episode. The Vault is now closed. Just a quick disclaimer, The Vault is just a chat around life and money topics. We're not giving financial advice.